themselves. And yeah, so without further ado, Cassandra.
Sure. Thank you, Sally. So my name is Cassandra, and I work with the Nursing Home Association. And we're really excited about this partnership with NBANH because we are always looking for staff in our nursing homes around the province. So this is a great opportunity to meet some of you all who are interested in careers in our nursing homes and who have some background in healthcare, is my understanding. So I'm going to talk a little bit about nursing homes, and then we have some other presenters that I'll introduce after myself. I'm just going to try to share my screen for you. Here we go. Bear with me. All right, can everybody see my slides? Perfect. So at a nursing home, I just wanted to start off with what a nursing home is, because it means different things in different parts of the country. So nursing homes here in New Brunswick, we offer 24/7 nursing care for individuals who are classed as medically stable, but they do require access to nursing care around the clock and assistance with activities of daily living. So our residents are typically over the age of 65, and they would have mobility concerns, or a lot of our residents would have dementia as well. So they're typically frail, elderly residents, and they live full-time in the nursing home. And it's their home, that's where they live all the time. So just some quick facts. We do have 71 homes across the province, so we're in every corner. There's a handful here in Fredericton, and we're going to have some representatives from those facilities talk to you today as well. So the entire sector, all the nursing homes in New Brunswick, we represent about 5,000 residents, and we have about 7,000 staff across the province. We operate in both English and French, so depending on the location of the nursing home, it may be English residents and staff or French, and we have a few bilingual as well. And just a little bit more background. So all nursing homes in New Brunswick are privately owned and operated. And that means when you work for a nursing home, you are not an employee of the government, you're an employee of that independent organization. And they're all community-based organizations. And like I mentioned before, we're spread across the province in the urban and rural settings. So we have a handful here in Fredericton, but we also have some just outside the city as well, and in many small rural towns across the province. And just a little bit more about our nursing homes. So like I mentioned, they're residential care facilities. So our residents live there. They have access to nursing care 24/7. But it's also a really dynamic work environment. So there's lots of best practices in aging care taking place in our homes. We have so much going on with innovative programming and senior care, and we have some of the most advanced technology in the industry. And a lot of our homes are continuously involved in different research and pilot projects, and they're all connected strongly to their community. Lots of community ties and events. We have strong connections with our family of our residents. They're involved in the care planning, they're involved in the process. And when you work in a nursing home, you're going to establish relationships with the residents and with the families. So it's quite a bit of a unique experience compared to working in other healthcare settings. And we have some exciting new programs coming on board too. One's called Nursing Home Without Walls. So our residents live full-time in the home, and typically the staff just come to work in the home, but the government's announced some exciting projects where we're kind of breaking down the walls of the nursing home. So we'll have people from the community coming in for services, and we have our staff going out of the home to provide services to members of the community to kind of break that barrier. So that's a really exciting project, and it's just one of many, many really exciting initiatives that we have going on in nursing homes. And I just wanted to show you about some of our career opportunities. So our main care team is made up of registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and resident attendants, or what you might call a personal support worker. So you can see here on the side some of the salary ranges. So the majority of our homes are unionized, and they follow collective agreements which dictate the salary and benefits. And the homes that are not unionized typically follow the same pay scale. So we are at parity with the hospitals. So if you're working in a nursing home, you're going to be making the same, or if not more in certain cases, than the same position in a hospital setting. And we're about to renegotiate for the nurses. So the salary you see here is going to go up for the registered nurse and the LPNs as well. And all employees would have a full benefits package after a certain period of time, including health plan, a pension, paid vacation and sick days. And you'd also have access to an employee and family assistance program for yourself and your family. And I'm going to have one of our partners talk soon about how to gain your license here if you have a credential from your home country. But right now, if you do not have a Canadian nursing license, you can practice as a resident attendant or that personal support worker role right away. And this slide just has my contact information, which I will certainly make sure is shared with you. I'm going to throw my email in the chat, and I'll share that with Sally over email as well. So I'm always here for questions about nursing homes. If you have a resume you want to send my way, I can connect you with homes in the city or in any community in New Brunswick if you're looking to move at some point as well. So that's it for me. What I'm going to do is hand you over to Rob Parker. So he works with the Government of New Brunswick as the IEN, or Internationally Educated Nurse Navigator, and he's going to talk to you about the licensing process. So Rob, I think I've made you a co-host if you have slides, but if not, we'll just listen to you speak.
Thanks, Cassandra. And again, thank you for having me. As Cassandra said, my name is Rob Parker, and I'm with the Government of New Brunswick, specifically the Department of Health Workforce Planning Branch, excuse me. And I'm just going to share. I have one slide that I'd like to show. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. So basically, my role is specifically with internationally educated nurses who are looking to become licensed to practice here in New Brunswick. And we have a unit of individuals who will assist you as you go through that process. For any of you who come to New Brunswick with a background in nursing training, you may have already explored some of the processes that you would need to do in order to become licensed to practice as either an RN or an LPN. As Cassandra has mentioned, the unregulated roles, typically all clustered together under a PSW category, do not require a specific license, and you could take those types of jobs immediately. If you wish to have your credentials assessed, the IEN navigation unit is here to help you by connecting with those assessment services, which all begins with something called the NNAS. And I'm not going to go into details on that. Some of you may have already started that process. But because of the nature of all of the pieces involved, that in itself can be a full presentation, and I don't want to take up everyone's time today on that. So what I will leave it with you is that we are here to help. Our role is to guide you through the processes, depending on what your background is and which scope of practice you are most interested in pursuing, so that in the end, you get full recognition for the training that you already have without having to start from the beginning. In addition to that, we work with all of the organizations across the province to, as I said, connect you with employers in the communities that you're in. One of the ways that we do that is by working closely with organizations like NBANH. Cassandra and I talk back and forth with respect to specific candidates that she may have homes who are interested in hiring. We work specifically with my counterpart in the immigration side to ensure that if required, the work visas are there. And then with the settlement services within those communities to help ensure that the candidates are fully engaged within the new community that they're settling in. In the end, the goal, as I said, is to get you to your maximum scope of practice and to be in a career that you are already well trained for in many cases. As Cassandra said before me, I will also put my contact information in the chat line so that you can reach out to me. There are many, many questions you will have going forward on the credentialing side, and we're here to help at any point along the way. So thank you.
Thanks, Rob. So what we're going to do is hear from a few of the facilities here in Fredericton. They're each just going to talk a little bit about their organization, and then we'll have a chance, we can open up for some questions. So unfortunately, one of our homes, Pine Grove, something came up, so they are unable to join us, but they did send me a presentation. It's just a slide deck with some music, and I'm going to try to share that on their behalf now. And then when that's done, I'm going to pass it on to one of the other homes. So just 1 second. Share sound. Okay. All right, can everybody see that? Perfect. So that was just some pictures there. Hopefully you can get a feel for the kind of environment if you've never been in a nursing home before, and the type of resident that you would be working with. So there's a lot of fun to be had. They had some really nice events featured there. And this is the email address for the Director of Care at Pine Grove. But again, I'll be sure to share all the contact information with everyone. And Pine Grove, again, so they're located on the south side of Fredericton, downtown on the river. So they're close to the Delta Hotel. So I can't speak specifically to their job opportunities today, but I know that all of our homes are always looking for nurses and LPNs and the resident attendants as well. So if you are interested in speaking with a representative from Pine Grove, I can connect you with them directly, so you can give them a call, or we can set up a Teams meeting with them as well. So I'm going to stop sharing that now, and I'll pass it off to Shelley. Would you like to jump in with your presentation?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for including us in the session today. And I'm going to see if I can attempt to share my screen here. No. Oops. This one. This one. This one. This one. Oh, there we go. And here we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm Shelley Kenny, and I'm the Vice President of People and Culture here at York Care Center. And as well, you can't see her, but I also have Jennifer, who is our Manager of Human Resources. So York Care Center is located in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and Pine Grove is what we call being on the south side of the river, and York Care Center is located on the north side of the river. So within our facility, we have a fairly large facility, but we have we offer different levels of senior care. So we have independent apartments for our seniors. We have an assisted living facility. We have a research department. We have an adult day program, and then we have our long-term care facility. So this presentation relates to our long-term care facility and our hiring of registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and resident attendants. So within our long-term care facility, we have 218 residents. And those 218 residents live under one roof, and they are sort of divided into 5 different units. So in terms of us and what we provide to our staff, we promote a team environment. We do have a modern facility. We have a secure building. We are on the bus route. We have scholarship programs available for our staff, and that is anyone who is bridging or studying in the care services department. So within the RN classification or LPN classification, as well as our PSW classification. Our scheduling system is computerized, so we have online scheduling. And as Cassandra mentioned, we have obviously a really good competitive salary to offer our staff, as well as our benefits and pension program. We do have a gym on site for our staff. We have a rehab department, and we also have a Get Inspired committee. So the role of our Get Inspired committee is basically to promote teamwork and to make our staff feel appreciated. In terms of our residents, this is their home, and our approach is basically resident-centered approach. We have different things within our units because we do have a therapeutic recreation department. And some of the specialized care approaches that we provide to our residents is our cuddle therapy program and snoozum therapy. And in terms of our community, we believe in having a lot of partnerships within our community. So in building those partnerships, we also make sure that we contribute to our community. So within our facility, we actually have a resident team. And the residents actually do different fundraising events, and the money that they raise actually goes back to their community. And our residents have also support an adopted child that they have adopted overseas. So a lot of their fundraising ventures actually go to ensure that they're able to make those contributions each month. Being in Fredericton, we are the capital of New Brunswick. So there's all kinds of things to do when you're not at work, in terms of what our community has to offer. We have amazing markets here. We have festivals in the winter. We're famous for our Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. There's lots of different cultural festivals going on. As well, we have some amazing beaches that you would have an opportunity to visit. And this is just a little information on how to connect with us in terms of email, and I'll make sure that Jennifer puts her email address in the chat room. So if anybody has any questions or wants to email us directly, that they would have that information. So thank you, Cassandra.
Thanks so much, Shelley. So again, there's the information for York Care Center, and you can always reach out to me and I'll follow up again to make sure you guys have all the contact info you need. So we're gonna have one more organization present, and then we're going to have some time for questions. So I'm going to hand it over to Sergio, I believe.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon. It's good to be here. Thank you, Cassandra, for the invite. It's going to take a quick second here to open my slides. All right. Hope everyone can see this.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sergio. I work here at Channex. So Channex is one of the long-term care providers in the region in Fredericton. We actually have two different campuses here. So we have one campus here on the south side and also one campus on the north side, as you can see here on the map. So in addition to these two campuses, we also have other locations in New Brunswick. We have facilities also in St. John, in Moncton, and in Miramichi. And in a similar way to what Cheryl was talking about before, we also have like the different levels of care. We also provide those type of different levels of care, like I said. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure why it keeps like passing through the slides. There you go. So the current career opportunities we have with regards to the clinical positions, we have clinical client services attendants or client service assistants. We have the registered nurses and the licensed practical nurses. So those would be forming the care team. And of course, it takes a village to...
I can't see your slides changing. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that as well.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me see if try to get out of the presentation and try to go again. I'm sorry, it's yeah, my computer is kind of like acting a little bit today. I'm not sure if it's maybe it's the internet or something. Can you see my screen now? I'm just gonna...
I see, yeah, you're on the career opportunity slide now.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll just like keep going from here. I'm not going to open like a presentation view, but I'll just leave the slides as is. So like I was saying, the career opportunities Channex provides with regards to the clinical team. Of course, we have the personal support workers, or sometimes they're also called CCAs, client service attendants. And in addition to those, we have the registered nurse and the licensed practical nurse. But we also have other departments in the nursing homes. So of course, we have the kitchen, so we need food services, administration, also positions in maintenance and housekeeping and so on. So it's not just the care team that make the nursing home an effective place to take care of the residents. So just going to talk a little bit about the roles. So the continuing care assistant or the personal support workers, so those would be the individuals who would provide the direct care to the residents. So they will be assisting, of course, with full scope of practice and mostly doing the activities of daily living. And that includes the support, of course, throughout the day with meals, recreational activities, restorative programs, so anything from like bathing, dressing, helping with really like all the activities throughout the day. The licensed practical nurse and the registered nurse, they also work with to full scope of practice. They provide the leadership and the direction to the care team. So for example, the licensed practical nurse, they also help with the medication administration, as well as the registered nurse. They're responsible for assessing, planning, and implementing the nursing care to make sure that each nursing care plan is specific to each resident. And here we can see the main, I guess, benefits in working with Channex. So of course, we try to provide continuous opportunities for personal and professional development. We have exceptional training and team-oriented environment. So we consider ourselves one of the leaders in the sector. So we want to make sure that we have the best people working with us. We have a referral program. So for every friend or every colleague that you help us hire, we'll get $500. We have employee recognition program. There are a lot of perks discount programs as well. We have provided competitive compensation, as Sandra was explaining earlier on the presentation, and also extended health and dental programs available, and the RRSP. And I do have a few photos here. So these are what the nursing homes would look like. So this is the facility here in Fredericton. So it's called Thomas Hall. So essentially, if you're going from the south side and going towards Mactaquac, we're on Prospect Street, very close to Hanwell Street. And this is the most recent nursing home that's located on the north side. So this is New Hall. And here are some pictures of the interior of the facility. So this is what they would look like in the inside. It's very interesting about the facility on the north side is that they have a kind of like a main street in the entrance of the facility. So it looks like you're really like walking in a street, like in, I don't know, like maybe 30 or 40 years ago. So you have town hall, you have a salon, you have a theater, post office. So it's really interesting to see residents like being familiar with the place where they live. So this is one of the bedrooms. And just quickly speak about the recruitment process. So usually the application process doesn't take too long. So you can feel free to send me an email with a copy of your resume if you're interested in working in one of our facilities. My email address is on the slide, but I'll also put it on the chat box. Usually we are able to book an interview within a week or two with one of the managers. And then of course we collect references, but it's a process that usually is online, so it doesn't take too long either. So within 1 or 2 or 3 days after the interview, we're able to get reference check back. And then we collect paperwork. And if there is a need of relocation, we assist with that. And I would say that the whole application process would take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, but still like we try to make it in a reasonable time and as fast and convenient as possible. So I think that's it for my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sergio. All right, I think we're going to open up the floor to questions. So we have the call open until 3 o'clock. I'm actually going to make Sally the host because I need to skip out just a few minutes early, but I want to leave the room open for you guys to ask all your questions. So feel free, just informal, just throw on your mic and your camera. We'd love to see your face. And you can ask questions to me or to Rob about the licensing process or to any of the employers as well. So if anybody has a question, you can just jump on.
Does anybody have any questions about the process that they were thinking about asking Rob? Any questions?
Oh, thanks, Sally.
I think we
I'm
have
happy.
a hand raised.
Yeah.
You can just unmute yourself and put your camera on and you can ask if you'd like.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi. My name is Runke. You might not know how to, R-O-N-K-E. I'm from Nigeria. You are all welcome. I am a graduate. I have my RN, RM, and some other AIE orthopedics in Nigeria. So I came to Canada, although I'm on a visiting visa. I'm on a visiting visa, so I just don't know if I'm capable or a part of the people that can work in these homes. Can you get me?
Yeah, so you're here on a visiting visa.
Yes.
I personally am not familiar with a visiting visa, but I do believe you need a working permit or a work permit to be able to work in Canada.
Yeah, Rob, you can speak to that a little bit better than I can.
Happy to. Ronki, the first thing would be to connect you with our colleagues in the immigration department, who I mentioned before we work very closely with. So if you wanted to send me an email, I put my personal one in the chat line, rob.parker@gnb.ca. What I would do then is I would connect you, if you have not already been so, to our population growth division. And then my colleague, whose name is Lindsay, and I would work with you. There are several ways which you could go from a current visitor's visa to a work visa. There are a number of paths that would be open to you. Some of those would be connected to having a job offer with a Canadian employer. Others would be available, for example, such as the express entry stream, which is a completely different immigration path. So we would be happy to work with you on those next steps, both for immigration. And you mentioned that you have a registered nurse's degree from Nigeria. We can certainly outline for you the steps that you would need to take if that's the scope of practice that you want to pursue.
Thank you. That's number one. Number two, age limit. Is
Great.
there any age limit?
Sorry, I missed that last piece.
Is there any age limits?
Age limit, age limitation in age.
Sure. There are various, depending on the immigration path, again, Ronki, the age will come into play when there's a point system involved, in that you will get a certain number of points based on age. But there are other immigration streams in which that doesn't come into play. So again, because I'm not with the immigration department, there's only a certain level of detail that I can provide on that. And that's why I'd like to be able to connect you with Lindsay so that she can give you the full details for your personal situation.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will need your email so that I can liaise with you. I can talk with you further.
Most definitely. It's in the chat now, but it's just Rob, R-O-B-B .Parker,
Okay.
P-A.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it?
I saw that.
Okay,
I saw
great.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see there's a question in the chat that, Rob, you could probably help. You're going to be the popular one today, I think. Help answer. If you can take a look at that, or I can read it out for you.
Sorry, no, I'm seeing it here now. Tessie, you're already in the express entry pool. Can I ask, have we been in touch before? Have you communicated with the IEN navigation service? You're on mute, Tess.
Got a no in the
Okay.
chat.
Okay, no problem. That's great. Again, what I would suggest, and the reason I'm going to do this is because for every individual, it can be a very different path. The process is always the same, but which pieces of that process can become the most complicated depend on the individual's background, their training, their work experience. All of those things come into play. So what I'm going to suggest is reach out, send us an email. I'll be in touch. And again, I can link you with Lindsay on the immigration side. She can take a look at your Express Entry profile because she will have access to that. And then we can provide additional advice going forward. But certainly the NNAS process is the starting point for all regulated professions in Canada, not just New Brunswick. So that's always the first step. And you've indicated that you've already completed an ECA as your IELTS, so that's great. But the ECA that you would have completed would have been for the Express Entry or the immigration side of things. Unfortunately, the nursing regulators do not recognize those ECAs. They will only accept an NNAS report.
Tessie unmuted herself, but I don't know. I'm unable to hear her. But I appreciate your question, Tessie. That was a good question to ask. Was there anybody else that had some questions? Now's the time to ask.
Yes, I have a question. Hello. I'm speaking not about me, but about my common law partner. She's my. She's come from Ukraine. She did diploma, and she worked 10 years in surgery in Ukraine. And now she's come to me with a tourist visa, and I will write to Europe the same situation. I will describe it, and thank you. I think must not take the time to your time to can be different to the others.
I also just put the NNAS website in the chat line, and you can go there at any time from anywhere in the world. A candidate doesn't have to wait until they are in Canada to start this process. So if you take a look at the website, www.nnas.ca, that has it again, it's not a simple process, but the website is very detailed and has great information. So once you start the process, what I always encourage individuals to do is stay in touch with us, because inevitably along the way you will have some questions, and we can certainly help guide you in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Rob. Sulafa, I just see that you have your hand raised. If you want to go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Sulafa. I work with Sally as well in the Multicultural Association. And we also, I just would like to draw attention that we also provide a kind of support under a program called AICLF, which is a loan that we provide to regulated professions, to immigrants with regulated professions like the nurses. There are some registration requirements for this loan in order to have it to pursue the exams and tests and licensing. This loan covers most of the fees needed for this kind of licenses. And my question is for the employer, Sally, is there any level of English that is needed in order to enroll in these jobs with the nursing homes?
So yeah, Shelley or Sergo, is there a level of, like a regulated level of English that would be required for working at the Channex or your care that you'd like to touch on?
I wouldn't say necessarily a level in terms of language abilities. We are predominantly an English speaking facility. And the thing to remember is that because obviously the majority of our population are seniors, it's the ability to be able to communicate with them in order for them to understand.
Understandable, very understandable. And I'm going to assume, unless he wants to touch on it, that Channex would be the exact same.
Yeah, exactly. So Channex has the same approach, and of course we have some facilities in Moncton that are predominantly French speaking. So we would require French speaking candidates or employees to interact with those residents, but in Fredericton it's mostly English.
So yeah, just enough to basic communication and to make sure that everything that they're able to communicate with the patients will also with coworkers.
There also has to be the ability in terms of reading and writing. So that comprehension level has to be there as well. And that translates over to being able to have the ability to chart accurately.
Sally, I'm just going to jump in for a sec. So I hate to run, but I assigned you host. So I think I'll just be able to exit quietly and you guys can carry on. So thanks everybody for coming. Please do continue the questions. The questions are awesome. And I'd love to hear from you, and I'll connect with Sally to get all your resumes and make sure you have all the contact information that you need. And I just wanted to make one note before I leave. We do, all our nursing homes are full service facilities. So there are other departments as well. And I think some of our presenters touched on that. We have full kitchen staff, we have environmental or housekeeping, we have maintenance departments, we have recreation staff. So there are lots of different job opportunities, either for yourself or your spouses, or for other family, relatives, friends, and most certainly if you have contacts in other communities across the province that would be interested in working in a nursing home, please do reach out to me and you can connect those family members or friends with me. So again, we have the employers here from Fredericton, but I have homes all over the province that would love to hear from you. So I'll leave you guys to continue to chat, and I'll hopefully connect with you all soon.
Thank you so much, Cassandra, for helping me with this today and helping facilitate this. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions that they would like to ask Rob, Shelley, Sergo? Hello.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm sorry, I am little girl. Hello, my name is Rania. I'm from Brazil. I was nurse in Brazil for 10 years. I live in Canada almost 2 years. I would like to be about I can start my training before my validation diploma or not.
Do you want me to take that one, Sally? Okay, great.
Sure.
Renia, thank you. That's a good question. You can start your credential assessment at any point. It's not, so the nursing credential, the NNAS process and working with the regulators, both A and B and LPN and A and B, that credentialing process has nothing to do with the immigration process. So oftentimes candidates are doing both at the same time. And one is not dependent on the other. So if you're currently in the middle of processing for PR, doing your nursing credentialing has nothing to do with that side of the process. So yes, I think is the answer to your question. You can start at any time. And the NNAS report can take some time to get everything. It's like all the other pieces, right? But generally, we would tell a candidate to look at about a 12-month process as average, because they're going to require you, just like immigration did, they're going to require you to have a series of documents sent directly to them, not from you, but from the institution who issued them. So your educational background, your employment history, all of those things would go to them. And as I said, this is standard across Canada. The only difference for New Brunswick applicants, so if you're looking at completing an NNAS report for New Brunswick, you can do so without submitting your language test. Now, at some point, and that doesn't apply to immigration, the language rules are still the same there. But with the credentialing side, at some point, the regulator will ask you for proof of language proficiency. But that can be done in addition to the test. It can be done in several different ways, depending again on your personal background, whether you've studied in an English language environment, whether you've been working in an English language environment. All those things, the regulator would then determine what you would need to do to show proof. But the advantage to that is that it means that you can have your NNAS report completed. So at least you know where you're standing on that side of it without it being held up by waiting for the language test to come through.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
No worries, that was a great question. Does anybody else have any questions regarding the process in Canada, the process of what they can do leading up to it, what they could, anything like that?
The great thing about this, Sally, is that we're all here all the time. And although electronics have, become our life, and sometimes we're cursing them a little bit, it does mean that any of the participants here today can reach out to us at any time, and we're happy to answer those questions. As you start the process and as you go through it, you'll find questions that you might not know today. And regardless of whether that's working with one of the employers or working on the credentialing side, and as everyone has indicated, we're more than happy to assist you with those challenges as they come up in this journey that you're on.
I agree. After this session today, everybody that's on this call will, besides the people helping me with it, will receive an email from me with all the information that's in the chat today, all the contacts, all the information that is important. So they will most definitely have everyone's contact, even if they forget to write it down right now. And yeah, just like Rob said, they're always going to be there for you if you have a simple question or if you have a detailed question. They're more than happy to answer them, and I'm more than happy to help you connect with them if it's needed. That being said, if nobody else has any more questions, I might just go to ending the session today. Please feel free to interrupt me if anybody has a last minute question. But I just wanted to extend my many thanks to Rob, Shelley, and Sergo for joining this call today and providing all this information. You guys have all gave me a lot to think about, so I know that you gave the participants a lot to think about, and a lot of insight into what areas they can go down. Tessie had just asked, her husband is an IT professional. Is there any opportunities within a nursing home that he could apply to. I don't know if that falls under any of the non-medical spots that you guys.
Yeah, I
have
was
talked
just
about.
gonna say that I'm not sure if I have an IT competition open right now, right here in Fredericton, but I can certainly search for it, and I might be able to find it.
So
As well, we currently wouldn't have anybody in terms of hiring internally, someone that has IT skills, because we outsource our IT.
understandable. Understandable.
Sally, I'm just going to jump in there. I don't want to take us off track because we're so
No.
close to the end.
No, for sure.
And certainly if Sergio and Shelley or any of the other employers that might be here don't have an opportunity for your husband, Tessie, feel free to reach out to your working NB group. Work with Sally. I know that she connects with them as well. And because there are IT possibilities within the province and certainly within Fredericton. So, you know, if your husband reaches out to those groups specifically, they can assist him with making sure that he's connected with, the options that are there. But that's only if Shelley and Sergio don't have anything.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Any questions, any positions, anything, everybody that's on this call, feel free to send me an email. I will put it in the chat. However, it's on our Facebook page and I send out copious amount of emails too. So never feel afraid to reach out to me or even Henrietta that's on this call or Sulafa. But feel free to contact us and we'll definitely help you with that process. But if that is the end of the questions, again, thank you all for joining today. Shelley, Sergio, Rob, you guys have been amazing. I'm so thankful that you guys were able to join us today and give us all this information. And I'm sure that you'll hear from me connecting people in this call or people that weren't able to join in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
Awesome, that was amazing. Thank you, Sally. Rob, nice to see you again. Shelley.